For most of history, New Year's Eve has meant fireworks, celebrations, and hope for the future. But on December 31st, 1999, something very different was happening. Across the world, people were watching clocks, governments were on standby, airlines were monitoring systems, banks were preparing for problems. Because at the exact moment the calendar changed to the year 2000, many experts feared something strange could happen. Computers might not understand the date, and if computers failed, some believed parts of the modern world could fail with them. Tonight, we're talking about the Y2K scare. That's tonight's story. Everyday videos. In the early days of computing, during the 1960s and 1970s, memory was extremely limited and expensive. Programmers had to save every bit of space they could. So instead of storing full years like 1975, computers often stored dates using only 2 digits. For example, 1995 became 95, 1999 became 99. It worked perfectly for decades. But there was a hidden problem. When the year changed to 2000, computers would suddenly read the date as 00. Some systems might think the year had jumped back to 1900, and that small mistake could cause serious problems for systems that relied on accurate dates. Things like banking transactions, airline scheduling, power grid management, government database. By the mid-1990s, experts realized something important. Millions of computers around the world might have this problem, and the clock was ticking. As the year 2000 approached, news stories about Y2K became more common.
With gas, take out some extra cash from the bank, maybe enough to last a day or two, hit the grocery store if you like, avoid travel, and keep candles and a flashlight around just in case.
Some experts warned the issue could cause widespread disruptions. The media began discussing worst-case scenarios: power grids failing, airplanes grounded, banks losing financial records. Governments around the world launched massive programs to update computer systems. Companies hired programmers to examine millions of lines of code. Entire teams worked day and night fixing software. But not everyone was convinced the problem would be solved in time. As December 1999 approached, some people began preparing for the worst. Stores reported increased sales of bottled water, canned food, generators, emergency supplies. Some families even withdrew cash from their banks, worried ATMs might stop working. For many people alive at the time, it felt like the entire world was waiting for midnight. Finally, the moment came. As the clock approached midnight on December 31st, 1999, people across the world watched closely. Time zones rolled into the new year one by one. First New Zealand, then Australia, then Asia, Europe, and eventually North America. Governments monitored power grids. Air traffic controllers watched radar screens. Banks checked their systems. And when midnight arrived, almost nothing happened. Most systems worked normally. A few minor glitches appeared here and there, but nothing close to the disaster some had predicted. In fact, the transition in the year 2000 turned into one of the largest celebrations the world had ever seen. The feared computer crisis never came, but experts later said something interesting. The reason everything worked was because programmers had spent years fixing the problem beforehand. Today, the Y2K scare is often remembered as a strange moment in history, a time when the world paused to see whether technology would fail. Some people say the fear was exaggerated. Others say the only reason nothing happened was because thousands of programmers worked quietly behind the scene to fix it. Either way, for one night at the end of 1999, The entire world was watching the clock, waiting to see what would happen when the future finally arrived. Thank you for joining me for another story. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe. This is Everyday Videos. My name is Gene, and I'll see you in the next video.